Welcome to the first episode of It's Always Beeroclock. I'm Mark, and behind the camera we have Simon. We're here in the beautiful inner city suburb of St Peters at Willie the Boatman Brewery, and we're going to go inside and meet the founder of the brewery, the larger-than-life character, Pat McInerney. Let's go. Well, we're here at Willie the Boatman to meet the founder of Willie the Boatman, Pat McInerney.
Hey, Stacky.
G'day, Pat. Thanks for having us here.
Thanks, buddy.
Now, I take it that you haven't always been the operator of a brewery. Tell us a little bit about your story, your background.
Yeah, sure. Look, well, it's long and varied. How long have you got? Pull up a stool. Mate, I've done a lot of things in my life, from working in a pornographic bookstore in the late 80s, early 90s, to driving taxis in Melbourne, where I was born, through to being a shonky TV producer at Channel 7 and a number of other networks where I worked on factual television.
So how did you come to be here?
For a love of not wanting to do that, and always wanting to drink good and fresh beer, mate.
Okay. Did you have any experience in brewing before you came here?
Not at all. Not at all. Literally, in all honesty, I like most home brewers, I got into home brewing because I thought I was going to save a fortune. Yeah. And like most home brewers, I worked out that if you want to actually make good beer at home, it's probably going to cost you more than it would if you went to the bottle shop. But it was chasing that. It was chasing the impossible dream. So always honing my skills, always improving, buying new equipment, buying new fridges, buying new burners, buying new fermenters, always pursuing the perfect schooner.
Okay. So tell us about the history of Willie the Boatman.
Willie Boatman was a Scottish highwayman who was sent to Australia in 1827, and his job was to row across the Cooks River from Willow Creek, which was then Tempe, to Tempe.
Okay.
He did that for about 25 years until he died, and now he's buried at the end of the street.
I see. So
about one can walk from here.
Right. So I see you have a beautiful timber bar here. Where did that come from?
We actually bought this. It is a beautiful bar, isn't it?
Yeah.
We bought this bar on eBay or Google from a chap in Philadelphia who collected mid-century handcrafted bars. Right, okay. So this is a bar that was built about the same time as Willie was rolling across the Cooks.
Yeah.
In 1850, and it's from a Wisconsin haberdashery shop. And prior to that, we think it may have been from a bar. I like to think it was from a bar. And it is a handcrafted American oak body with an Oregon top, and I caress it every day.
It's a beautiful piece of furniture.
It is a beautiful piece of furniture.
I heard a rumour that there may be a bullet hole.
Of course there's a bullet hole in there, and unless you're a forensic scientist, I won't have anything else.
Okay.
I'll point it out to you. So Stacky, I think that came from the bullet that shot Liberty Valance. I think it came off his chest and it went straight into the bar. What do you think, mate? That is as close as I can get to about the history.
Well,
but you know,
let's hope you don't suffer any more.
I would say though that is most definitely a bullet hole. But guns back in those didn't have the power that they do today. So if it's ricocheted off something, and it's got and American oak is very soft wood, I would say that's a bullet hole. Verified. Story verified.
Okay. The myth has been confirmed.
The myth has been confirmed.
So what's the brewing capacity here, Pat?
Yeah, the annual brewing capacity is tiny. So it's about 320,000 litres a year.
Okay.
So in terms of, say, some of the bigger inner west brewers, we're probably on the smaller. We're a medium-sized brewery. We're probably on the smaller side of most of the other inner west brewers, who would be close to 1 million or up to 10 million if you're talking about Henrys.
Okay. And
I'm assuming those numbers.
yeah. And I recall that you were in different premises nearby a few years ago, so you have expanded a little bit.
Yeah, well, we actually expanded a lot, Stucky. We've really, from our original place, we were barely 80 or 90,000 litres. So we've really, in the last few years, including 2 years of lockdown, we kind of we've grown about 4 times. Commercially, that's probably not enough, but we're still having fun.
Okay, that's good. And
I've almost got my hair.
Excellent.
I lost my nuts a long time ago, though.
And tell me, what do you think the next 12 to 18 months holds for you and Willie the Boatman?
Oh, well, if this gets to air this year, I honestly don't know. I think the next 12 months is going to be very interesting in the beer world. There's a number of economic headwinds coming our way, or they're stirring.
Okay.
We've got a whole movement of sober, curious youth. Kids growing up today aren't the bigger drinkers that we were. People have had 2 years, and I will wrap this up. People have had 2 years of being locked down and drinking way too much. Yeah. Myself included has cut down my consumption. I want to live a healthier lifestyle. So, in all honesty, mate, the next 12 months, I wouldn't say are bleak. I think they're opportunistic for the right players. Yeah. But I don't think in all honesty, I don't think that the independent brewing world is as bright as it was 3 years ago, and is horrific compared to what it was 10 years ago when we started. In comparison. So, yeah, there are some risks there, but potentially some opportunities as well. I think there's a lot of opportunities, but there's one thing about this industry, everyone glosses over the reality of what it is. Yeah. It's a business. Yes. And you need to make a profit. Yes. And we're not here for just enjoyment. And that's the story that I really want to tell.
Okay. Well, it's a great facility that you've got here. Do you hold any events here?
Of course we do. So, well, look, yeah, we have 2 festivals every year. We have a beer and food truck festival, and then we have a country music festival. As you know, I'm a big fan of country music. Yes. And that's called 80% Cooked. The beer and food truck festival, guess what? It's called Beer and Food Truck Festival. Hey, Mikey. Which is both events cater to about 1,200 very local people. Terrific days. Yeah. Really good community days, and our business, one thing that Willie the Boatman is really, I think anyone who, when you ask them what Willie the Boatman is, they'll say a fantastic community brewery.
And I understand you've hosted some weddings here.
A couple of weddings, yes, a few more to come. Mate, I hope.
Well, that's
no divorces yet, except my own.
Oh. Okay, well, maybe you could take us through your core range of beers, Pat.
Sure. Listen, I'll just tell you first, because there's a bit of an explanation to this. Willie the Boatman's a dead guy, right? Yes. Local folklore dude. So when I opened the brewery, I wanted to name a lot of our beers after local living legends. Hence some of the names.
Okay.
Elbow. Come in, Ree. Elbow. Hot Elbow. Young Anthony Albanese. Great local member. Yeah. Terrific bloke.
And a supporter of the brewery?
A big supporter of the brewery. Loves our beer. Particularly loves his beer and another beer that we'll get to in a minute called Crazy Ivan.
Okay.
Big fan of Crazy Ivan, to be honest. Then we've got Tempe Tim, which is named after my mate, Tim Cox. He's the last remaining member of the Tempe Home Brew Club that I set up about 12 years ago, and his beer's still appalling.
And there's a good beer named after him here.
Yes, there's a delicious mid-strength beer named after him here. Marrickville Lager. There were so many breweries opening in Marrickville, I couldn't believe none of them had a beer named after the suburb that they were in.
I'll just go back to the Albo for a second.
Yeah, of course.
In the Gabs Top 100,
yes,
number 56?
56. In the Gabs Top 100, there were 400 breweries entered into the competition. Only 59 were represented, and we were one of them.
And I think there were over 2,100 beers.
Over 2,100 beers. So and it is an event, or it is I suppose, a popularity competition where some of the bigger breweries will spend some significant coin on. I can absolutely verify right here today, everyone, we did not spend a cent.
Out of 2,100 to get into the top 100 is a great effort.
It's not shonky, hey?
Okay, so take us through the rest.
Andy Smasho. Andy is one of my business partners, did the rebrand, great guy, pretty funny, and loves to smash a beer.
Okay.
It's a very simple pale ale, and you just smash them. They're great beers.
Okay.
That and the lager are my two favourites for high consumption when I'm having an on day. The Nectar of the Hops, Nectar of the Hops is the Australian grandfather of the haze craze. First New England IPA commercially to be brewed in Australia.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was such a new variety. Even in America, it was still referred to as a Vermont IPA or an East Coast IPA.
Yeah.
It wasn't a New England IPA.
Well, it's quite a commonplace style these days.
Mate, if you ask the kids who do drink beer, it's the only style. It's like hazy and seltzer.
Yeah.
That's all they drink.
Okay.
Whereas me, I'm an old bloke like you. Crazy Ivan's where I reckon this is the best beer we make, and it's the Crazy Ivan IPA, and it's an old school West Coast IPA. Big fruit bomb at the front, crisp and dry at the back. That's my relaxer. 6%, mate.
Okay. And
the staff will only serve me 3. After that, I have to go home.
I see. They've been given those instructions?
Yeah, that's for me.
Also, I will note that the Nectar of the Hops achieved the top 100, Gab's top 100 in the prior year, didn't it?
Last year, yeah. And 99. 99 good reasons to drink Nectar of the Hops.
Absolutely.
Only 56 good reasons for Albo. You see where I'm going with that one?
I do. Okay, so that's your core range, and then you've got sort of seasonal or other beers that you make from time to time.
The Style Goes, which is a very old German style salted beer.
Right.
Absolutely delicious beer. Commercially brewed by Willie the Boatman. First one in Australia.
Is that right?
Yep. About 8 or 9 years ago. And the whole idea of a gozer is you have it with a schnapps. You're a well-travelled man.
Yes.
You drink it with the schnapps to break down the salt and the acidness of the sour beer.
So when I order one here,
you're breaking into my story there, Stacky. So. Anyway, we served it with a marshmallow to get around that, serving it with the snaps.
I see.
It was really nice. It was a great beer. Anyway, now we just add fruit.
I see.
So we've got watermelon in this one. It's a cracker.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good hot day beer. Replaces, because it's salty, it's a good sports beer. It's the Gatorade of beer, Gozers.
Okay.
Salt, replenishing.
I'll bear that in mind next time I have a game of squash.
Yeah, please do, mate. Please do. And then along the line here, and I won't go into them all, but we've got a Schwartz beer, which is a beautiful dark lager. We've got a Hefeweizen, which has guava cheesecake. flavours, and so I'm not going to spend a long. Yeah, this is a terrific beer. It's the cappuccino stout, nitro stout, big. We make it with our mates down the front at Sample Coffee. Every pint has about a shot of coffee in it.
Okay.
It's an absolutely delicious beer.
So the more you drink, the more you're awake?
The more you're awake, the hyper you get and the drunker you are. Win-win.
Yes.
And then this is another seasonal that we do. We've done it twice now. It's a terrific beer. And it's actually, it's all New Zealand hops. And just by the international beer guidelines, that style, New Zealand IPA has got its own category.
What's the wackiest beer you've made?
Probably the craziest beer the brewers have made is a lamb souvlaki beer.
Right.
Which was absolutely beautiful. It was a very technically an amazing beer for like what our brewers achieved in doing it, because they essentially captured all the flavours of lamb, rosemary, and lemon in a beer, but tasted like a souvlaki, mate. You could be in Brunswick Street, Melbourne.
Is that right? So
100%.
And so I don't need to wait. I didn't need to wait till after my beer to go and get my souvlaki.
No.
I got them both at the same time.
2-for-1 deal, buddy. It honestly was a meal in a schooner.
Okay.
Glass. It was delicious, but and pretty freaking amazing too.
What trends do you see happening in the brewing industry?
The haze craze is here to stay.
Hazy, crazy days of
Sadly. Sours are forever popular. They have been now for a few years. I don't see a lot of change happening. I think we're pretty much stuck between the seltzer and the hazy.
All right, well, Patrick McInerney, thank you very much for showing us around Willie the Boatman and telling us a little bit about your story.
Thank you, mate.
Okay.
Cheers. Good to see you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we come to the payoff. We're going to try all of Willie the Boatman's beers.
Excellent. Cheers.
Cheers, Simon.
Cheers, Mark.
Nectar of the hops. Can't beat it.
Crazy Ivan. That is crazy. Crazy good.
Double nectar of the hops. Oh, that is good.
Oh, that's good. Stouty.
Grandma's guava cheesecake Hefeweizen beer. It's different, but it's good. Microbreweries and guys there, so give us a minute and that's
like that. You've already been on camera today.
all right. Let's go. Have you been to Willie the Boatman before, guys?
I have, yes, many times.
Many times, and what do you think of the place?
I think it's great. I've been supporting him since he started.
Yeah, okay. And do you have a particular favourite beer?
Nectar of the hops, which he's drinking, but I'm having a cappuccino at the moment. Stout.
Okay, and any other of the sort of specialist range that you like?
Yeah, he's had a few different ones. The souvlaki beer, which was quite different, but yeah, it was good.
All right.
My first time.
This is your first time here?
First time, yes, yeah. So I've tried so far the hops one and the Marrickville one.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the Marrickville, sort of my sort of drinks are more a lager, Pilsner drinker. So, yeah, that was down my alley.
Have you been to Willie the Boatman before?
I have. I'm here pretty regularly. Probably too regularly, but it's such a good venue, so...
Okay, and do you have a particular favourite beer here?
Oh, I always go for the Albo. It's a classic. It's an excellent choice. They make it right here, so you can't go wrong with it.
Okay, and?
This is my first time here and I don't drink beer, so I'm having a cider.
Don't tell anyone. We haven't kicked her out yet.
And what do you think of Willie the Boatman Brewery?
It's really good. Like the beer tastes amazing. It's really good. And I'm living in Germany, so when the Germans say that, it's amazing. It's really good beer.
Okay, fantastic. And Luke, what do you think of it?
I love it. What better place to get craft beer in Sydney? And yeah, what a good beer.
And have you been to Willie the Boatman very often?
A few times, yeah. A good friend of mine, Andre, brews here, so I mean, I'm part of the, I feel like
Brewery.
a little bit part of the family. The reason Yurko is here is for my wedding, and Andre has even brewed 2 beers for us for the wedding. So I feel really lucky and feeling really looked after by Willie, and yeah, what an honour to have beers made for my wedding.
Right, well that brings us to the end of our visit at Willie the Boatman in St Peters. We'd like to thank Pat McInerney for being our host today.
Yeah, thanks, Pat.
Now Simon, we've tasted all of the beers here at Willie the Boatman. Of the core range, my favourite was definitely the New England IPA, the Nectar of the Hops. Whilst of the specialty range, I like the dark lager, the Schwarzbier. How about you?
Well, out of the core range, I really like Crazy Ivan. And out of the specialty range, I really like the Cappuccino Nitro Stout because it's a cappuccino and a stout all in the one glass.
Yeah, that was great as well. I really like that one.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Remember, it's always Beeroclock.
That's right.